This is Dr. Kasia. I'm CEO and founder of EBV Global Institute, and today we're talking about lymph, sore throat, swollen lymph nodes, and what does it mean, why are you hurting, and what to do about it. We're going to start with lymphatic system, explaining what it is. So, to simplify, because lymphatic system is complex, imagine the bloodstream. Imagine the map of the body and the bloodstream all over. You have the blood vessels everywhere, right? So you can imagine lymph as a collection of vessels as well. It looks a little bit like the bloodstream, except while the blood delivers nutrients to your cells from your dinner, lymph actually collects toxins. It's like a sewage system that keeps you clean from level of toxins that is unhealthy. So imagine that lymph has to move because you have to move your toxins. So other functions that lymph has is producing and sending germ-fighting soldiers, immune cells, sending them to the infected cells, and also collecting dead germs. It also moves protein-rich plasma to go back to the heart, to supply the heart. So these are the basic functions of the lymph. The lymph collects in lymph nodes. You often hear about lymph nodes, and that's what we're going to talk about today, because for majority of our EBV community, the pain, discomfort, and restriction in movement is around lymph nodes right here, under the jawline, on the sides of the neck, and then collecting here as well. The lymph nodes are also around your here or under your neck, and then also lymph nodes are around your armpits, on the outside of the breast, then around your groin, in the back of the knees where they bend. So the collections are important because that's where the lymph can actually become congested and stagnant, and you can actually sometimes feel like your lymph nodes are enlarged, they're swollen, they're tender to the touch, or they're painful. And sometimes people literally have bulging growth in different areas where the lymph nodes are. So let me look at my notes here. So the question is, why is your throat hurting? So let's talk about the lymph. Lymph is a collection of vessels, organs, and tissues. And that includes tonsils, spleen, thyme. And think about that. Tonsils is the prime or initial site of infection. EBV loves to infect tonsils. As a matter of fact, so many people in our community will tell you they had their tonsils removed when they were kids because they had them repeatedly infected. So oftentimes it's strep, but oftentimes it's EBV. That's a prime site for EBV. Infection, if it's an initial infection from EBV, it is typically oral. And so tonsils are right in the back of your throat. Keep that in mind, because when your EBV is actually in your oral cavity, it can also infect your salivary glands. There is an autoimmune condition related to it when you stop producing saliva or mucosa in the rest of your body. So then when you have EBV infection, the tonsils are also infected. So the closest lymph nodes are right there. And so they will start having all this accumulation of dead debris from EBV, the oxidative stress and toxins that EBV produces. All that debris needs to be processed by the lymph through the lymph nodes and then moved for excretion. And so if you have congested process, you're not moving that lymph, that's where accumulation happens and you start having the pain. So this is very, very common. Now, also your immune cells, of course, are trying to fight EBV. So there's a lot of activity. So your lymph is overactive. Now, when the lymph is congested, I need you to know we have to move. So imagine that the blood system, the bloodstream will move no matter what you do. You can stand on your head, whether there's gravity or not, the bloodstream will continue moving. On the contrary, lymph doesn't move unless we move, and that's a problem. The worst case scenario is where your lymph is so congested that it stops moving altogether. If your lymph doesn't move at all, you're gonna die. No lymph, no function. So it's very important that we decongest that lymph. How do we do that? It's a problem because exercise makes things worse in EBV. We have a complete training of safe and unsafe exercise if you have EBV. So make sure you watch that in our YouTube channel. So today, when I talk about exercise and movement, I'm going to make 2 points. The first point for lymph is you always want to turn off the faucet. So we always look for the root cause. The root cause of congestion is EBV. So you need to turn it down or turn it off. And this is what we do in EBV Global Institute. We have a complete turnkey process called EBV Recovery Program, where we walk you through the complete system to recover, so you won't have these problems. So that's priority number one, is to find a program or find solution like ours that will help you actually regain your function so you won't have the lymph problem. If you want to Google our program, it's ebvonlineprogram.com, very easy to find. Priority number two is move the darn lymph without reactivating EBV. One of the biggest mistakes that even the best willing doctors saying as a recommendation to people with EBV is go exercise. It'll improve your mood. You'll feel better. It's the worst recommendation you can provide because EBV creates massive amounts of oxidative stress. Exercise, vigorous exercise, creates big amounts of oxidative stress too. So your scale is already tipped. That's why people don't have post-exercise recovery. They sometimes have to be bedridden for a day or two if they tried aerobic or cardio. So you can't do that. So let's talk about what kind of exercises or movement is really appropriate to release that lymph, to provide support and to provide support for EBV without actually tanking. This is how people feel. I tanked. So the movement is required. So let's move for lymph. In my exercise training, I specifically talk about exercises exactly that support lymph, and nothing else is important. So imagine a form of exercise similar to skipping rope. When you skip a rope, you jump gently, repeatedly, moving all your organs, and that's how lymph moves. It requires that gravity. So this is a perfect example of what I want you to imagine. If you don't have skipping rope, you can imagine that you have skipping rope, just like that. You could dance a little if you can jump. And rebounder is one of the most popular means to move your lymph, and only 1 minute suffices. So don't do more than 1 minute a day. You will get out of breath and you will get enough movement. You can stand and shake. Literally, there are shaking plates where you can buy them and stand on it, and it shakes your body for you. You can also do professional lymph drainage massage. You can find a local massage therapist, investigate who is trained in lymph drainage massage or who specializes in lymph drainage massage. These massage therapists are fantastic. You will get so much release. It's a gentle procedure, very gentle touch. In our EBV recovery program, we actually have a retired massage therapist. One of our EBV graduates that provided video trainings and also PDF with pictures and walks us through how to self-massage and move the lymph safely. So very simple exercises. You don't want to overdo it. You only want to do 1 minute a day. That's it. Keep tab on it. And priority number one always is, how do I turn off this virus in the first place? Which is what we do at EBV Global Institute. So I welcome you to check our website, ebvhelp.com and ebvonlineprogram.com.